Thanks for tuning in. Got something interesting for you today. I want you to come and check out this. Okay guys, so what I was thinking was it's never too long before the cold weather seems to come back round again. So I was thinking one of the things we need to sort of look after and remember about is our hands. Now obviously we need these to be able to do our job, so why not let's look into investing into making sure our hands are in tip-top condition and we're looking after them. So personally I've been using these for quite a long time. These are the Sealskinz gloves. So what I thought I'd do is I'd run through some information about these gloves and then show you a little tester I've got lined up to really put these gloves through their paces to make sure that these are exactly what they advertise to be. So first of all, this glove is waterproof, windproof and breathable, which is all good. We need that. Close fitting stretch knit gloves. Now basically these are I really like these ones because if you're trying to do something, say for instance I've got my payment slips here. If I'm trying to get one out of the van to give to a customer, it's on a cold day and I've got these gloves on, you can actually do quite fine actions with these gloves. So like picking up leaflets, paper, anything like that, whereas obviously bulkier gloves you would struggle to get a hold of a piece of paper. But this is really nice because it's quite close to your fingers, each one, nice and close to the hand, and you can do those sort of small actions there where you would obviously be probably almost just as good with your fingertips. But the gloves do a really good job of being able to do things like that. It also has a dotted palm and fingers for grip, so even when they're wet. That's quite nice, especially for pole work. So when your poles obviously you're getting a bit wet, or if you're doing traditional, your pole maybe gets a bit of detergent on there as well, making it slippy. You have these little dots on here. See if I can maybe bring that in for you. You've got little dots just on the palm and the fingers there. To help you with grip, so it's really good. I find this is perfect for pole work, really good. I'll even wear these on days that it's not particularly really cold, but just more for the grip aspect of these gloves. I really like them, they're really quite nice. It uses a merino wool lining for warmth and moisture control, so that's really cool. So some of the maybe information that you don't really need to know, but it's just interesting anyway. The outer shell is 96.5% nylon and 3.5% elastane. It's got a hydrophilic membrane. The inner section of the glove is 84% merino wool and 14% nylon and 2% elastane. So that basically means that it's a good glove. The elastic of it basically means as well that when you put your hand inside of it, that it kind of fits to your fingers. It's not too baggy or too tight. It'll stretch in and around each finger, but not too much so that it's not baggy. It's nice and close knit to your fingers. All around pretty cool glove. Really like these ones. The sizes, it comes in extra small all the way up to XXL. So you got a whole range there. You just basically go onto the website that you're buying it from. I'll probably give you hopefully a chart, especially if you go into window cleaning resource, window cleaning warehouse, that kind of thing. They'll tell you how many inches it is around your hand and what size that is. Now for me, I think I was about 9 inches it was, so that came in, I think it was a medium. If we just check the label on here, I'm sure it said medium. Yes indeed, yeah, medium. It says to cool, tumble, dry as well, so you can do that. You can put them in the washing machine at a 40-degree heat and a cool tumble as well if you need to tumble dry them. So that's really cool. Really nice gloves. Now, so that's the gloves I would personally recommend. I use these, like I say, quite a lot. They lasted me for about a year or so before you start getting a bit of wear in and around usually the thumb and the index finger section. That's usually the first place it goes, and then after that it's usually things like the fingertips. So that's probably where you'll find it'll start to go. But there are telltale signs. It doesn't just all of a sudden one day just rip and then start leaking. I could tell pretty early on that it was starting to wear and it still wasn't letting in water at this point. So I knew to go and get another pair. So that lasted me for a good 11-12 months per pair, and they're only about 20 odd pounds, which is maybe about 30 odd dollars, I think, something like that. So yeah, really good gloves. Now, I've got a test lined up, okay? They're claiming that it is completely waterproof and it's going to keep your hands nice and warm as well. So I thought, well, why don't we put it through its paces a little bit? I'm going to sort of simulate really, really cold water. So what I have, a nice cold basin of water. Now this, I've put some ice cubes in here as well as an ice pack, as you'll see there, a nice ice pack there. So I'm trying to get the water as cold as possible. So what I'm going to do is put the gloves on. My hands are nice and warm at the moment because I'm indoors. I'm going to put the gloves on, immerse my hands in the water and keep them there for about 5 minutes. Now don't worry, you're not going to have to watch me stand here like a lemon holding my fingers in the water for 5 minutes. I'll cut that bit out. But we'll resume again after 5 minutes. I'll take my hands out of the gloves and we'll have a look and make sure they're all nice and dry and they're not blue and falling off. My fingers, that is. So we'll crack on with that then, will we? Okay guys, so I've got the gloves on, ready to go. I've got my basin of icy cold water. So what I'm going to do is immerse my hands completely in the water and hold them there for 5 minutes. And let's see how well these gloves do. Okay guys, right, so that's me held the hands in for 5 minutes now, so time to see what damage there is. See if my fingers still work. So let's have a look. Okay, and that was icy cold water. Just to sort of simulate, especially if you're working in the winter around cold water, you want these gloves to work perfectly. So let's have a look. Just make sure I'm not going to drip everywhere. Okay, take these off. And then back in there, because, right. Okay, so I am noting that the wrist area is a little bit damp. My fingers are still really warm, that's good. But I've noted that basically it's just the wrist area for some reason. It's a little bit damp here and here. But actually my hands, dry as a bone. So that's really good, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, so obviously you're not going to be doing that all day, immersing your hands in cold water, but I thought, well, test it to an extreme and then it'll definitely work for, you know, when you're either doing traditional work or you're doing reach and wash, water fed pools. You know, if you've got water running down the pole and onto your hands, you want to make sure that's going to last all day, so then you can dry it out at night time and it'll be ready for the next day, and it's not going to let water in, you know, a quarter of the way through your working day and going to give you really cold hands. You don't really want that to have to work with. So, yeah, out of 10, I would say the Sealskin gloves, I would give a 9 out of 10. The 1 point it loses is basically for the fact that you really have to watch what you're doing with these gloves, that you don't put your hands on any kind of sharp surfaces, self-explanatory. Say hurling on a wall, sometimes the tendency is sometimes, say if you're reaching out to do a window traditional, and maybe you're putting your hand on the wall to kind of hold yourself, you don't want to rub your hand on any kind of hard wall or anything like that. You've got to watch out for obviously things like thorn bushes, anything like that as well. You don't want any holes or tears. But other than that, it's a really good glove. It's obviously not as hard wearing as maybe some of the proper work gloves that you can get, but those gloves unfortunately aren't as waterproof. You see, so preferably these are the ones that I prefer. As long as you look after them, you're not too rough with them. They should last you the guts of a year, which I mean for £20–30 or dollars it would be for you guys in the USA, is an absolute bargain for especially a whole winter time of nice gloves to use. So like I say, about a 9 out of 10 for the Sealskin gloves. If you'd like to buy the Sealskin gloves, check out Window Cleaning Resource if you're based in the USA or thereabouts. Or if you're based here in the UK, you're looking for a UK supplier, check out Window Cleaning Warehouse, and we'll leave the links in the description below. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. You've been watching Window Cleaning Resource on YouTube. I'm Tradman, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.